Do you know what they mean by ushering in? It is by altering the balance in energy levels on earth. The balance of energy. Let me explain this before I read for you where all this is coming from. So you see, there was a time I told us that United Kingdom, London especially, the United Kingdom as a whole, has the lowest energy level almost on earth. And what that means is that the level of positive energy in that country has gone down to -0. And -0 means that the human energy, the domineering and dominating human energy, which God gave to us when He said, take dominion, go and take dominion. That dominion energy has now been completely whittled down and, if not altogether, obliterated. And the less of that energy you have in an environment, the more of the energy of Satan you have in that place. So it goes this way and that way. So if you have human energy this way, satanic energy goes this way. If you have godly energy this way, satanic energy goes all the way down to hell. Now, the human energy is what decides whether to imbibe the God energy, so that you go this way and Satan goes that way. But what we're saying is that the God energy has left its place and come to the human energy. From the human energy, it has now gone all the way down below. And the lower the human energy was coming, the higher the satanic energy was rising in that place. That's what it means when you say a low energy in an area. So when you pump the energy level, satanic energy level high in a particular location, you are making it possible for even Satan himself to come out from hell and walk freely on earth without being encumbered by anything. What it means is that demons can come from hell and they will move and nothing will shock them. Remember, they need your blood energy. They need your human energy to be able to have access in our world. But when you have given it all to them, you are sucked dry, you come low and they come high. Now they have access to our world because your energy going low means that you have given it all to these demons and they have used it. That's why they always promote immorality, so that people can jack off and give out their energies very discriminately. And the more you give it out, the more these demons use it to have access. So you are giving them your dominion power and energy, and they are taking it and you are going down to their own place of hell, while they are coming up to your place of dominion. So this is what has happened in our world. They now figured this out and they said, how do we do this? Let's alter the energy levels in our world so that when the Antichrist comes, he will not have any encumbrance. He will not have any distraction, any energy clash. There will not be any, like when wires begin to touch, electric wires that carry current, when they begin to touch, you will see sparks. They don't want to see such sparks. They want to create the kind of energy that you'll find in the pit of hell. Isn't that what we were talking about when we talked about that show? Remember the Travis Scott show? Remember, they created the energy of hell in that place, first of all, before the show started. And that's why what happened there happened. So they wanted to create this same energy of hell all over the world. So when the Antichrist comes, there will not be any true positive energy or human energy to counter his own, because he has stolen all of your dominion energy. How do they do that? Let me give you the 10-point agenda that Alice Bailey came up with after the satanic meeting on how to bring about this energy decimation. Number one, and I've done a video on this before, but I'm going to do it again right now. So number one, it says, take God and prayer out of the education system. Take God and the prayer out of the education system. When I was in high school, I remember very vividly like it was yesterday, many years ago. We used to sing hymns. Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. And with Rock of Ages, cleft from me. We were singing every assembly time in the morning. Every blessed day we sang hymns. And it was the case in nearly every other high school at Enugu in that season. It was happening at Enugu in Nigeria. It was happening in Lagos. It was happening in America. It was happening in so many places even before I was born. God was there in our school system. God followed our children to school and followed them back home. They prayed at school without any fear. Children spoke the name of God and spoke the word of God. Prayer was so easy. Teachers were praying. Students were praying. And this was transforming our children and the society by extension. Because if you look at the amount of time that children spend at school and the one they spend at home, you will know who actually controls the mind of the child. The school system takes more of our children's time than even the parents can have access to at home. So you can imagine, with that amount of time, you have Christian religious knowledge, you have all this prayer at the assembly ground, you have all this Bible reading and stuff going on. People were coming out of campuses, out of schools, becoming pastors, becoming evangelists, becoming missionaries. Many churches in Nigeria today were born on campuses. Do you think that will happen again today? No. No, this is why it will not happen anymore. They say, take God and prayer out of education system, not just in America, but worldwide. That's why you have the issue of Sylvester and Darwin College. Look at all the private schools everywhere today. Look at them. Look at even public schools. God is nowhere near. The kids are being introduced subliminally to Satan every day. They enter school and the first thing they see is pornography. The first thing they see is going to worship Satan, getting money, getting involved in cults. Where is God? He's gone. You kicked him out. And you helped them do that without knowing. So number one, take God and prayer out of the education system. And so she said, change curriculum to ensure that children are freed from the bondage of Christian culture. So Christian culture is a bondage. Free them from that bondage. Now he says, why? Because children go to school to be equipped to face life. They are willing to trust and they are willing to value what is being given to them. You see, they know, they understand. They are willing. That's why we had mission schools. And all of a sudden they came through the government and began to strip all the mission schools access, strip the churches access to their mission schools so that government will take it, because the devil now is the one controlling the governments. You saw the issue that came up somewhere in the western part of Nigeria, where a Christian school was now being invaded and told that they can no longer be Christian school, that Muslims are allowed to come there and wear their stuff. Why not allow the Muslim schools to be Muslim and allow Christian schools to be Christian schools? No, they had to infiltrate it and make sure that they destroy that value system. That's what's going on. Did you not know when this was happening? I bet you were sleeping. He said they are willing to value what is being given to them. They know this. So when you give them evil, they are willing to value it because it's in the line, in the process of getting education. Whatever I can get in this process, I will work with it. So they take it. And now she goes further. She said, if you take God out of education, they will unconsciously form a resolve that God is not necessary to face life. I'm reading you the original document. I don't know about what I've given you before. I'm reading you the original. This is in quotes. You can see for yourself. If you take God out of education, These kids will unconsciously, without even knowing, unconsciously form a resolve in their own heart that God is not necessary for them to face life. Is that not what you're seeing today? People come out of college, they come out of the university and they tell you, man, forget about this God. That's how we ended up having more atheists today. More passive and active atheists today than at any other time in human history. The moment they come out of college, rather than becoming closer to God, they are driven far away from God because they have teachers, they have all these educators in those places planted to give impression, directly or indirectly, psychologically, consciously and unconsciously, that God is not really what you need, but just your own smartness, because now you are your own God. I just saw this video, I think a few days ago, where a woman was screaming out her head. Different parents were screaming, why are you teachers? They actually found 2 teachers in a particular school telling young boys that they can actually be girls. If you think you're a girl, you can be a girl. This one say if you're a boy, if you're a girl and you think you're a boy, you can actually be a boy. Indoctrinating the children and planting seeds, satanic seeds in them that was not there before.
In October, a shocking report claimed that teachers at Salinas, California middle school secretly recruited students into a pro-LGBT club disguised as a gender equality club without their parents knowing. In the club, teachers reportedly indoctrinated the pupils into accepting progressive teachings on sexuality and transgender ideology, even going so far as to coach students into changing their gender while advising them on how to hide their new identity from their parents. At least one couple who said they were parents of a student claimed they were called into Buena Vista Middle School, where a teacher told them that their 12-year-old daughter was now a boy. According to the father, when they refused to use the daughter's preferred pronouns, the teacher called the public safety officer to the meeting. On Tuesday night, they were able to address these teachers for the first time at a local school board meeting. The unnamed mother excoriated the teachers for allegedly changing her daughter's name, using different gender pronouns, and altering key school accounts without her knowledge, while helping the daughter transition into a boy.
Let these teachers come in and act as if they have nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong. A mistake? How long of a mistake? How many mistakes are we going to take before my child almost lost her life? They didn't tell me that my child was suicidal. You allowed these teachers to open their classrooms teaching predatory information to a young child, a mindful child that doesn't even know how to comprehend it all. How do you not know what was going on your own campuses? Did you think that no parent would ever come forward? You will not quiet me today. I will stand here today and protect my child along with every other child who has not come forward yet. Do they have psychiatry degrees that I was unaware of? Because I didn't hire them. Okay, I did not hire them to sit there and nitpick my child's brain. You took away my ability to parent my child. Even before I had any knowledge. I didn't even get to show support. You asked for support, I didn't get a chance. You planted seeds, Miss Caldera and Miss Baraki, Mr. Baraki and you, Miss Cagaran. Your job was to educate my child in math, science, English, etc. Do your job and let me do mine.
So this is the school informing the parents that their child has a brand new identity, which the school has helpfully assisted the child in forming. Your child that you thought you knew is dead. And now you have a son, and here's his name. This is what you're going to call him. That's what the school's doing. Now, Mrs. Conan says that she feels like her daughter was coached, and she was coached. But I think coaching is not exactly the right word, because coaching is what you do on the sidelines of a football game. Coaching happens in workplaces. Parents coach their children. But when strange adults impose their sexual ideas onto pubescent children and attempt to coax them into a certain sexual lifestyle, that's what we call grooming. This mother sounds utterly traumatized because she is traumatized. Her daughter is a sexual abuse victim. And she had to sit in the room with her daughter's sexual abusers and be lectured by them. Imagine that. Your child is sexually abused, and then you get called into a meeting with your child's abusers, and they lecture you and then call the police on you. Her daughter, of course, is even more traumatized as the primary victim here and the one whose mind and life and self-perception are at stake. So this is grooming. This is sexual abuse. So the schools here are not only grooming children and abusing them, but also committing a form of kidnapping. They are, in a very real sense, trying to steal children away from their parents. They want to abduct the child, the one that you know, your child, the one you raised, and replace him with somebody else. I mean, they're literally trying to make a new child with a new name and everything.
They will focus on those things the school counts them worthy to be passed on, and they will look at God as an additional, if one can afford the additional. So everything school gives them to do, they will count those ones worthy. Every other thing that the school tells them is more worthy. But God is just an afterthought, an additional, and I don't really think I can afford that additional stress right now. That's where they have placed God. So she told you what they wanted to do, and she explained how they intend to do it. And have they succeeded? Yes. And there's a note here, it says, today they introduce transcendental meditation, TM, in schools, which takes children to altered states of consciousness to meet with demons, spirit guides. And this is pure New Age. I've done a video on New Age. I've done a video on meditation. I've done a video on yoga. And I'm going to still do another video to explain to you what this thing you call yoga is all about. I have explained it before. I will do it all over again. Altered state of consciousness is what they make you do when you do transcendental meditation. That's what you do. And when you have an altered state of consciousness, you're no longer in control. It's like opening the doors wide and demons flooding in and manifesting all kinds of stuff through you. Explained this in the previous video, and I'm going to do it again. All this is now introduced in the school at the same time that prayer is being kicked out of our schools. Kick God out of the schools. Take God and prayer out of the education system. No wonder a child will pray or wish somebody something and mention the name Jesus, and the child is fined. It happened in America, God's own country. It is so strange and alien to find a school, public school, where anybody is openly being a Christian today and praying in the Western world. In the Western world. This was where it came from. This is from the Church of Satan. Alice A. Bailey, a foremost Satanist. They created it. That's just number one. Let's go to number two.